So whenever you're trying to learn Python, you can use multiple IDEs. So either you can use Jupyter Notebook, or you can use VS Code, or you can use Spyder IDE as well. So personally, I have used all three of them, and I have found that Spyder IDE is really, really useful when you're working on the projects. Hi guys, my name is Rohit, and in today's video, I will share with you basics of Spyder IDE and how you can use it while building your machine learning model. Let's get started. So when you install Anaconda, along with that, you would get this Spyder IDE for free. So if you check the installed applications, and within that, if you check Spyder, and if you open it, it would open a UI like this. Now within Spyder, whenever you want to create a new file, you can just go to File and click on New File, and that would create a new file for you. And once you write any code over here, you can save that file using the Save As option at any location on your machine. So for this demo, I have already created a file. So what I am doing in this file is I am first of all importing Seaborn module as SNS. Now one good thing about Spyder is either you can run this complete code by clicking on this option that we have, or you can run the code line by line. So let's say that I have selected this line. Then after that, if I press F9, I would be able to run this particular line of code. And whatever line of code you execute, you would be able to see that over here. So all the output is getting printed over here. So let's say now I'm reading a tips related data, and I want to run these two lines only. So I've selected these lines, and I can press F9, or you can right click and you have option of run selection. So either you can click here, or you have a shortcut of F9. So I'm going to use shortcut F9. So that would basically execute this particular line, and the output is printed over here in the console. Then another thing that you get within Spyder is a variable explorer. So when you go to variable explorer, here you would get list of all the variables you have. Let's say if I create one more variable over here, let's say something like data is equal to 1, 2, 3. Let's say I create another string variable. Let's say data string is equal to string data. Okay, now let me select these lines and run it using F9. So if you see here, even these two variables are now appearing in the variable explorer. So here you can clearly know for any variable, what is its type, what is its size, and what's the value contained in that variable. So this makes it really easy when you are writing a code. So first thing is, when you're writing any function, even any code within the function, you can write by selecting just those lines. And then you can check the content of those variables by checking the variable explorer over here. So for example, I am reading the data in the data frame format in this tips variable. So I can view the complete data by clicking on this. So if you double click on this, basically it would open a complete data frame for you, and you can view that data in that data frame. So it simply becomes as good as Excel or a CSV file. So you can just scroll down, check all the data. Then if you want to see, let's say in terms of the total bill, what is the highest bill? So you can just click over here, it would sort the data. Now this is sorted in the ascending order. If you click again, it would sort it in the descending order. So you would have big values at the top. So basic data exploration also becomes really easy using the Spyder IDE. This is the feature which I really like. So specifically when you are doing any data processing or data cleaning, and after doing data cleaning, if you want to check how your data is looking now, right? So you can simply open the data frame in the variable explorer and check the data. So you don't have to write the data or print the data. So that kind of step is not really needed. And another advantage, as I mentioned, you can run the code line by line, which is really good when you're developing any new code. Now let's say that I want to run this particular code where I'm creating a scatter plot using Seaborn. So to this scatter plot, I'm passing our data, and then on the x-axis we are going to have the total bill. On y-axis I'm going to have tip, and the hue is time. So if I select this line and run it using F9, it would basically create a plot. So if you see here, I'm seeing a warning. The figures would be rendered in the plots pane by default. So here you have option for plots. So if I go to plots, you would see the plots which are created in your code. So any number of plots that you create would be displayed within this plots option which you have. And I can also save this plot. So for example, if I click here, save plot as, it would be able to save the plot which we have. Then if I click here, this is the option basically for saving all the plots which are displayed. So any plots that you are you would be able to save those plots as well. Or if you just want to copy the plot in clipboard and then you want to directly copy this plot in your PowerPoint presentation or any email that you are sending, that is possible as well. So this is the option which is again very, very useful within Spyder. Then let's say that I'm running this next line. I'm printing the data in tips. So if I use F9, it would again display the output in this particular console. So basically you can keep using the console and plots based on what you are doing. And one of the important feature is again variable explorer. So that would keep on changing the data as per any data that you are creating. Let's say that I am now creating a new variable with name var, and in that I am storing, let's say, a floating point value 12.50. Okay. Now let me run this line using F9. So if you see here, now the variable is updated in the variable explorer, and this variable is having type float. The size of the variable is 1, and this is the value it is having. So basically it becomes really easy when you are writing a large code. Whenever you want to check the data content in any variable, you can always check it without doing any print statement. So you can check the data without any print statement, which is a great option if you compare it with something like a Jupyter notebook. And all the plots you are able to get at single place. You can save all the plots at one time, or you can save one plot at a time. You can explore the data. So all these options are really, really useful in Spyder. Then in terms of the advanced features, you can also do debugging. So there is option for debugging in Spyder. So you can do the step-by-step debugging. You can do step-by-step running. So all those options are also available within Spyder. So if you are just using Jupyter Notebook, guys, as you are just getting started with Python and data science, I would recommend you that you can start running your code in Spyder as well. And whenever it comes down to writing functions and writing code into those different functions and writing your code in the form of .py file, I think that is where Spyder is much, much useful if you compare it with something like Jupyter Notebook. So Spyder gives you a balance of usefulness, along with that writing the code for actual machine learning projects. So if you have not explored it, start exploring it right now. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.